Okay.
Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you're having a great day. Today we're looking at the 2023 Indian Sport Chief that I purchased a couple months ago. I initially got the first service done on it just recently, so now it's time to modify. Today we're looking at doing the SPB Lawless 2-in-1 exhaust system. Taking off the old stock one because loud pipes save lives. Right, Dad?
Yeah, what he said.
Okay, so that's a for sure thing. If your dad says it's true, then it's totally true. We've got our instructions here. We printed them off from the Lawless page. We don't need those. We're men. So I'm Jason James, this is Pops, and welcome to IRL Man. Hey guys, welcome to the channel, and let's get into it. All right, we have the 2023 Sport Chief here. We got Pops, we got me, and I'm going to be trying to follow along at 20 times speed because this took about an hour and a half to do. A lot of you could probably do it a lot quicker. Good for you, okay? Good for you. Pat on the back. You're better than me. But we're going to try and follow along anyways, and I'll try and fill in the gaps as best I can from what you're seeing. Starting off with taking your heat shields off, which ended up taking the longest of the whole process. I guess a lot of companies do this. It's not just an Indian problem. It was Harley problem as well. The heat shields on the stock units, they have hose clamps that are impossible to get at. The head nuts for the hose clamps are usually hidden behind the heat shield, and as you can see, Pops is trying to get the front one undone from the other side of the bike laying down. That's basically the only position you could be in to try and get at that nut. So I let him struggle with that, and I did the easy part, which is taking off the cans off the back. So those are very simple to take off, obviously. You're going to need a bunch of sockets and a couple of... do we need Allen keys on this? I can't remember now. I don't think so. Just a bunch of different kinds of sockets. Dad and I were fighting over whether it was metric or standard the whole time, and I was like, Dad, it's pretty sure it's standard. Or is it metric? I don't know. Well, we struggled with it the whole time because some fit metric, some fit standard. Doesn't make any sense, but have both on hand if you can. Getting the cans off in the back, just make sure you just undo the clamp a little bit more. And you know, if you're gonna lift, guys, do it like I'm doing there. Just all back, no knees. Just, you know, if you want to throw your back out like me, all back. Just lift like a man. There's no knees involved. So once you get the cans off, you just keep moving forward towards the bike and just start disassembling as you go. Pretty simple process, actually. Like I said, the only thing that was standing in our way was the heat shields on the headers. They were brutal. You need to get these at least loose enough to move them so that you can get at the manifold nuts that take off the headers. So if you can't get the heat shields moved even just a little bit, you're going to have an impossible time trying to get those out, especially in the rear cylinder. The very farthest nut on the manifolds for the rear cylinder is a pain in the ass, just so you guys know. I struggled with that one for quite a bit, so I would start there because you're going to get frustrated. And listen, if you're new to wrenching on your bike, things like that can get you pretty frustrated pretty quick. So just follow along from what I'm doing wrong and don't do what I do, basically, is what I'm telling you. When you got your old man there, you're going to go back and forth on what's the right way of doing things, obviously. You know, many hands makes light work, but two minds also at the same time can slow a process down. There's no doubt. So while we're waiting to get that heat shield off, I just want to talk a little bit about the channel. The channel going forward is going to be about men doing stuff in real life. That's the reason for the name, IRL Man, right? Very simple. I'm going to be featuring men in my circle, and hopefully some men outside of my circle that I find influential. Somebody we can learn from who has some great advice on how to better yourself as a man, and to build more community around men and their hobbies and their finances and their mental strength. So there's going to be a lot of videos about special guys that are out there that sounded really weird, eh? Special guys, men that do manly things and are influential to other men, and that's what we're going to focus the channel on. So hopefully in the future you guys are going to catch some really good some videos about some influential entrepreneur type people, people with life skills, people with survival skills, you name it, we're going to try and touch on it. And hopefully as the channel grows, we'll get more and more men with broader influences and bigger followings that we can have on the show, which would be great. And again, it's all about learning. It's all about becoming a better person at the end of the day. So that's what the channel is going to be about. So as you can see here, we're still working on that heat shield. It was that bad. So I think we actually have the heat shield moved enough that we could get at that rear, that last nut that was just driving us absolutely bonkers. We did get the heat shield moved. We never did remove the heat shield completely off. So as long as you can get it moved just out of the way, then you'll be able to get at it. But you're gonna have to have some different extensions and stuff for your socket set, some skinny ones and some oscillating head extension as well. You're gonna need that as well. So you might need a few extra tools to do this. Nothing crazy, but just like I said, have all those things on hand if you can. It'll make things a lot easier. You do have to take off the right-hand side peg and the brake peg as well, and the brake reservoir. So when you do this, important note, have like a box like we've got here, and place it on there. Hopefully you can stand it up as best you can. So try not to have the brake reservoir fall on its side, because you don't want to get air bubbles in the line, and then you'd have to bleed your brakes. And nobody wants to do that. So don't do that. Do as I do. That's the one thing I would do like me. Get the box or something that meets the bottom of the frame, because there is quite a bit of brake line there, so you have a little bit of play to put something down, and hopefully you can get it out of your way so you can continue doing your work there. But you do need to take it off to get this system off. A little bit about the Lawless 2-in-1 exhaust. The Lawless guys, the garage, are out of Quebec City in Quebec in Canada. They've been great since the very beginning. I bought a bunch of stuff off of them, and I'm always going to support Canadian companies before anybody else, because there's just not many of them out there doing this. So when I find a good company that's making quality parts for bikes, I'm going to jump all over it and try and support them as best I can. So Apprentice Man, you're the man. Thanks again for everything that you've done so far, and I'm sure I'm going to do in the future, because we're not done. We're not done yet. We're just getting going on this bike. But I do want to ride it a lot too, so I don't want to spend all my time wrenching on it. I do want to ride the bike, and everything that I do to it is just making it more of a complete motorcycle for myself, and more personalized for myself, as everybody else does, right? Everybody's the same way. So, but be prepared to spend a lot of money. There's no doubt about it. You're gonna be spending money if you want a bike the exact way you want it, and you'll never actually get it there. That's the rub. Anyways, we're still fiddling around here with that heat shield, trying to get around it. So I guess I can keep talking about the 2-in-1. So when you switch from this 2-in-1 after taking the stalker off, you actually do lose 32 pounds, which is an amazing gain. Not just performance-wise and looks-wise and sound-wise. Losing 32 pounds on a motorcycle like this is huge. And God knows I could lose 32 pounds. And I'm going to, because that's going to be part of my channel as well, too, is holding yourself accountable to make sure you're going to the gym, which I am doing. But making sure the other man and yourself are going to the gym, eating healthy, and doing the right thing with your life going forward. So that's going to be an important thing. But up for the bike, losing 32 pounds in one fell swoop is huge. And it's amazing that it's that much. I couldn't believe it when I heard it, but it is true. So also, when you do a 2-in-1 and you have an intake like I do on mine, you're gonna have to get a tune. Thankfully, one of the reasons why I chose Lawless is because they have a deal with Lloyd's to tune these 2-in-1s. So for me, it was an easy decision having Lloyd's on my Victories before. I love their tunes, and I never had any issues with them, so that's a big thing. I like to do these kind of mods and then ride my bike and hope to have no issues with it. So I didn't in the past, and I'm looking forward to not having any issues again. And they just know how to tune they know how to tune a Polaris motorcycle. There's no doubt about it. So looky here, we've got the headers dry mounted so far. Before you put those on, you have to put these awesome snap rings on the ends before you put the brackets. So put your brackets on, and then you have to slide these snap rings over, and they're not easy. Again, if you have a friend for this or a vice, definitely get that help if you can, because it is a bit of a pain in the ass. So we use the vice, and if you're going to use a vice, wrap your headers really well and don't squish them. I don't know if there'd be anything more embarrassing than throwing them in there and then squishing them and having them not fit on the canister, or not fitting into the intake or the exhaust manifold area. That would suck. You'd be pretty screwed. You'd have to get a whole new piece sent out. So don't do that. Just tighten it just enough so you can get those snap rings on. And it is quite a bit of effort to get them on, so get a couple of pairs of good pliers, and yeah, just use two hands. That's all you can do. So having the headers in the vise definitely makes it a lot easier. Still not easy, but we got her done. And so yeah, so we're just dry fitting the exhaust right now. You want to do this. You want to obviously not tighten up the headers before you get the canister on in the last bracket near the end of the bike there. So the last bracket's just behind the canister. It's just a T bracket. It fits in great, and the dry fit was super easy. Everything fit great, so it was really well put together. The canister slid right onto the headers. No fuss. I thought I was gonna have to use a rubber mallet to put them on. Not a chance. These things slid on terrific. So hats off again, Lawless. You guys did such a great job putting these together. It really made it easier to do. When you are ready to tighten everything up, start from the back, but don't tighten everything completely down. This is what I found out was the easiest way to do this. Tighten up that T bracket, but not tight, so that it's still movable. So it's not necessarily a dry fit anymore tightness, but a little bit tighter than that. And then get to your manifold nuts. And get those tightened a bit more, and then tighten the T bracket a bit more again. And then once you have that done, go back and then fully tighten down your intake I keep saying intake manifold. For the love of God, it's exhaust manifold nuts. Get those tightened down, and then tighten the T bracket down last, because you don't want to have that extra stress on the headers. You want that on the rear of the bike if you can. We're just throwing on the 2 springs that just attach to the canister and the header, and then you're good to go. Once you've gotten it all tightened down, make sure the O2 sensors are tightened down, and you use Loctite on everything except for those head nuts. So it is pretty basic, but it did take us a little while. Like I said, the longest part of this was taken off the stock system, and you'll probably find that with a lot of systems that's the case. Once we get this thing fired up, you'll get to hear it, and it's, heads and tails different. I don't know if that's a saying. It's completely different than stock. So if you're looking for something that's not quite as loud and you don't want to tune, there are some great slip-ons out there, like Reinhardt makes. I know Reinhardt makes some nice ones that actually look very much like the stock pipe. So if you're looking for that, if you still like that double barrel shotgun look, I don't, but a lot of people still do, and you don't need a tune for them. That could be a way to go. It's also a little bit cheaper, but for me, I always like the full system, and this one's going to go good with the gold highlights. Once we had this thing started, and I've ridden it a few times already. The color change on it, it's like those Hot Wheel cars back when you were a kid. It turned almost bronze gold. The only thing, the canister is still kind of silvery right now, but it is starting to change color. I think over time it's going to start changing, but the transition from top down, the way it looks now, is amazing. I'm blown away by how cool it looks. It looks friggin' awesome. It is a bit hot, so I might eventually have to wrap these pipes. I really don't want to, because they look so cool. But I might have to do that. I might have to wrap them. Because I have already smudged. I already left a boot smudge on the bottom header there, and it's hot. It's hot. It does kick off a lot of heat. And if you own one of these bikes, you already know they kick off a lot of heat. If you're stuck in traffic or whatever, you're gonna know it. But with these pipes, it's just that little bit hotter, just a little bit hotter. So other than that, I think it looks like we're still messing with that rear nut on the back cylinder there, and it was a pain in the ass to get at. So again, start back there. Don't do what I did. Start in the back and get that part finished first, and then you're good to go. So moving forward with the channel, again, I'm going to be doing some more work on the Chief, and I'm going to be doing more videos if I do any major upgrades to the Chief. I have crash bars. It's literally 4 bolts. I mean, I guess I could do a video for it, but I probably won't, because it's only going to take like 10 minutes to put it on. I got a Saddleman seat that takes like 2 minutes to put on, so I just don't see any value in putting videos up for those. There is videos up for those kind of things already. But the crash bars are from Lawless, and Prentice, I forgot to order the rear crash bars, the passenger peg crash bars, so remind me if you're watching this to order those. Alright guys, she is all buttoned up, and just before we go, I would love to give a huge shout out again to Lawless Garage, Quebec City. Check them out on shop.ca. They have a great catalog for Indian motorcycles and Harley Davidson, from exhausts to risers to derby covers, you name it. These guys got all the juicy bits. So go and check them out. Tell them that Jason James sent you from IRL, man, and they will say thank you. I'm not sponsored by them. Just pushing the Canadian products out there, guys. That's That's the biggest thing that matters the most to me. As far as the IRL Man channel goes, stay tuned. Check out what's coming next. We're going to have a few videos coming out in the next few weeks here. Going to be a different venue than what we did here, but we're going to do some more work on the bike with Pops, and we're going to meet some other influential men and have some great sit-downs. So I am Jason James. This is IRL Man. Peace the fuck out.
It's amazing. Great job with the fabrication from Lawless. Obviously, you guys did a great job. So let's see what she sounds like. Okay.